Hey folks. So recently we had a question on different finishes I use on pens. So I was working on a hybrid blank pen for me because I'm bored and in a bit of a mood lately. So this is what I do to relax. Make me a nice new pretty pen. And figured, you know what, since I'm doing it anyway, let's go over it and I will give you guys all the ins and outs of how I do this, including the brand names and all that stuff. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. All right, folks, so since we decided we're gonna do a video all on different finishes, I like to start, especially if I have any wood, which this is a hybrid blank. The green here is that's dyed and stabilized. And then the color over here is resin. So I like to start off with Yorkshire grit. It's just simply a paste that has some, and you can see right here, it's hand-blended mix of mineral oil, beeswax, abrasive powders, and it basically is it's a fancy polishing wax specifically designed for lathes, pens, bowls, stuff like that. And the way you apply it, usually I'll have this on my lowest speed, but I'll just put a bunch on with it spinning slow just like that. And we're actually going to do this in reverse and just do it from this side today. Will be different. But so you can see how it's globbed up on there a little bit. We're just going to turn this on low. This is how it looks when I'm applying it. You just want a nice, you don't need a lot because a lot does go a long way. Then you just speed it up. And you can kind of see I just work it in. And you can see where that line is whenever I'm doing this. What I'm doing is looking for a line like that. Now I'm just going to flip this over to a clean side. And all I'm doing is working it in and taking off excess. I didn't really see a good line that time, which is a good sign. Yeah, we're not getting any lines left from where I just forgot to grab a mic and I don't have time to run in while I'm doing this today, unfortunately. That's why I'm trying to yell over this. But as I'm pushing it, you'll see the line where the edge of the paper towel is. If I'm not seeing that for 2 or 3 passes, I know I've got all the excess worked out and everything's worked in. And anytime I'm doing plastics or acrylics, that's where the next couple are going to come in. The next one is the white tin of Yorkshire grit microfine. It's exactly the same. The difference is it leaves highly polished surface on resins, hybrids, and wood. So it can go on wood, but I generally don't use it because I don't want to make wood look too shiny because then it looks too much like plastic and I don't care for that appearance. If you want done, I'm always willing to do it for anybody that likes it. But this is just, let me back this up a little bit. This is just a white paste. Again, you don't need a lot because it goes a long way. And anytime I'm done, I always, even if I'm in a hurry, I always close stuff up because I like to keep this stuff clean. Feels really weird to be doing this on the wrong side. But then slow it down. We're gonna zoom back in and it applies just the same. Just like that. Now we're gonna speed it back up. I said speed it up. More. That sounds about right. And then I just work it back and forth. I'll just flip that over. And again, I'm just looking for that burnish line, which you can see on the front right there. So that's how I know I still had some extra left on there. That one was a lot lighter. Yeah, that looks fairly clear. The next one, we're moving on to a liquid. And anytime I have not used this, it's a huge noticeable difference. I don't even understand what they have in it that makes such a difference to polishing anything, especially if you want it to be crystal clear. But is Hutz Ultra Gloss. Back that up so we can read it. So, like it says, remove scratches, great on plexiglass, corian, and formica. Leaves an ultra glossy finish. Trick is, shake it up. A lot of times, if you ever see me off camera shaking something, it's either this or our Dr. Woodshop's Pens Plus, which I currently have, but not in the original bottle, and it's not labeled right. I did just pick up some GHS labels for stuff I use out here when I rebottle it, because some of the bottles I get I don't like. So I'm going to be switching that out here pretty soon. I just haven't had, again, I haven't had a chance to do it, starting a new job and all that fun stuff. So for this, I'll put it on real heavy at low speed and crank it up like the rest. That's how we get the bulk of it on polished. And now we're just going to take it off and finish up the polish. You can already see how much better that's looking, and I haven't even sealed the wood yet. But after the Hutz Ultra Gloss, that's when I go on to Dr. Woodshop's Pen Plus. This one, like I said before, I don't have the original bottle, but I know what's in it. It's carnauba and beeswax mixed with an alcohol solution. It does have a microfine stuff in it, just like the Yorkshire grit, but it's a liquid, so it's a lot more, it's not as concentrated, that's the word I'm looking for. So I really like these ketchup bottles for them. This is why I grabbed those labels, because my marker just does not stay on it, because the finish itself eats it off the side of the bottle. But for this, and if you've ever watched me do a wooden pen, you know this stuff pretty well. I need to come over here because the first one I don't actually run the lathe for. This is just going to get it in the wood. And that's just to get the wood as saturated as possible on the first one. Now I'm going to run this as slow as I can, which is 650 RPM. And I like about 3 to 5 coats of it on there. It all depends on how it's absorbing. This one's probably going to get 3 because it didn't absorb as much as I was thinking it would. If the wood's really thirsty, I always give it more. My record for a pen was 10 coats, because every time I'd touch it and it would just soak it up in. But the way it works is the alcohol flashes off, which is what it's called when alcohol dries, if you didn't know the technical term. But the wood will pull the alcohol in, alcohol will flash off, And then when I speed it up, what we'll do is, or what happens is, the wood heats up, it heats the wax up, the wax expands and gets even deeper into the wood and gives you a nice deep seal. It's very fast, it's very effective. Why did that just stop? Oh. Apparently my lathe is not fixed. And we're going to put a little more on, and then we're going to speed it up. I really hope I don't have to replace the main control board on this, because that's like $300 that I don't currently have. If I got to put that much into it, I'm looking for a new lathe. I'd like something a little bigger anyway. Alright. So, let's zoom in a little bit. You can see how much shinier that is. Pens, I don't mind if I get too shiny, especially when they got, because that's, I believe, maple. I'm pretty sure it's a maple burl that they used green stabilizing resin on to get that effect. But now I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me talking. So I'm going to go over both before we start, and then I'm just going to go for it. So what I'm going to do is turn this all the way up, full speed. I'm just going to use the paper towel. I'm going to go along, wipe it off. You might notice I'm feeling the pen a little bit, because what I'm trying to do is get it hot, because then I'm going to use this, which is pure beeswax. While it's hot, I'll just rub it on. I'm going to try to leave ridges on there the whole way down. That way I know I can get a good coverage. Once that's on, all I'm going to do is flip the paper towel over and then take that beeswax off, and that's how we get our final polish. And that's pretty much how we do finish for a hybrid pen blank. Again, acrylics, we skip the Dr. Wood shops and do the Yorkshire grit and Huts Ultra Gloss. And that's both Yorkshire grits and the Ultra Gloss. If it's just wood, usually I skip I skip everything and just go straight to the Dr. Wood shops. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of Yorkshire grit just because it does clean it up a little bit, especially if it looks a little rough. But that's, again, that's once you've done enough of them, you know what it's going to look like. You kind of tell when you need what. So, like I said, we're going to jump back into this, and I'm just going to throw this together as quick as I can. Actually, I'm going to go to the other side because it's easier for me, but I'm still going to leave it reversed so you guys can see how it looks from my normal point of view. Just get a nice even friction heat on that. Get it nice and hot. And again, I'm still looking for the regular line that I was looking at before. We got enough heat. All right, and that there is when I'm trying to finish a pen, exactly how I do it. Like I said before, the difference is when it comes into play for different stuff that I use. But I know one of my live streams, somebody had a few questions about different things, and I wanted to make sure that if anybody else had questions, we got them answered. Which is why if you ever see me live and have a question, hit me up. You never know. I might do a video for it. So with that, I think I'm going to jump off of here, pull that piece of resin off. And I think I'm going to jump off here, say cat in the hat, that be that, and I will see you all later. And any other questions, throw them down below. Like I say, I'm always looking to do some new stuff. See y'all later.